Hello, FounderHub community, and welcome to today's demo day. It's been a while. So we hold demo day hopefully every Wednesday at noon Eastern time. This is a benefit for our community members. So we want these companies to pitch. We want these companies to practice. We are moving into a new mode where we have two companies hosted. If you've been with us for a little bit, you've seen that we've had some last minute cancellations the past couple of weeks. So we're doing two companies per day. We have a lot of slots available, so please let me know if you're interested in practicing your pitch. Today's guest is Richard Proper, who's the CEO of VicTV, a new streaming SVOD channel for Vintage Talkshows. Richard, it's fantastic to have you today.
I'm very happy to be here.
Richard, just as a quick reminder on how our pitch deck dynamic works, we'll let you pitch for 3 to 5 minutes, hopefully around the 3 mark. I'll time this so I can tell you sort of how long it took you afterwards. And then we'll have a quick discussion, hopefully questions from the audience. People who are joining us on the YouTube live, feel free to ask questions on the comments or the chat. People who are on our FounderHub community, go ahead and do that over Slack. We will prioritize questions from the FounderHub community, of course. Richard, if you are ready, just go on, share your screen, and let's get started.
Okay, very good. Let's see here.
Yeah, just waiting for Richard to share his screen. This is a slide presentation, which I'm really proud of. Richard, I see it now. Moving to your screen, muting myself so I don't interrupt you, and you can get started whenever you want.
Very good, thank you. Greetings, everyone. Imagine for a moment you're in the south of France. You've been given a lead that there's some old cars in a barn, and inside are 2 classic Italian cars, both unseen for decades. Now imagine you're in Southern California in a small town called Burbank. In 2017, I pulled back a large steel door to reveal a huge vault that held thousands of historic videotapes that contained talk shows. Unlike today's Hollywood productions, these shows were owned by the talent. And as they passed away, the estates and descendants assumed ownership of the IP and the physical assets. Why would content library owners be interested in a niche streaming channel? Well, money, of course, but more importantly, legacy. There are some 85 talk show libraries produced between 1950 and 1995, with an estimated total of 15,000 episodes. Of our first phase, we presently have 9 libraries already signed. VicTV is an SVOD channel that allows subscribers to select from thousands of full-length talk shows, searchable by host, celebrity, or curated theme. Today, these shows are unavailable. Searches on YouTube result in poor quality clips. DVD is near extinct. VicTV delivers this genre as a branded streaming channel. So let's have a quick tour. One of our advisors is from Roku. Here's a simple wireframe that he architected of the channel search features to just give you a rough idea. Our base philosophy for success is discovery plus consumption equals retention. As you can see here, this is just sort of a general search by show. And as you can see here, you could search by celebrity, in this case, Elizabeth Taylor. Our business model is straightforward. It's $4.99 a month, and we utilize Spotify for our content owners as a lucrative proven revenue model, making money not just on one episode, but hundreds, consumed every day by a dedicated audience. Our market size is a 50-plus demographic. This demographic is frequently discounted as not tech savvy. However, more than 46% of Netflix's user base is over 45 years old. Our industry is growing. The Wall Street Journal, The Economist, Forbes, Business Week, and all the entertainment trade press confirm that this emergent streaming industry has an estimated gross revenue of $65 billion by the end of 2021. I should note that was published in 2017. Our competition presently is a group of successful nostalgia channels in the standard broadcast and cable TV space, reaching the same demographic. There are no talk show channels in the streaming space, but the closest channels are already successful. Acorn has more than 800,000 subscribers, Hallmark over 500,000, and there's a couple of emerging channels that would have the same demographic. However, both of these have been launched in the last couple of years. Our underlying magic is very simple: curation, new programming built around the old shows, and VicTV's secret sauce, which is transcribing all of these shows and using this data to mine our audience, both in outreach and marketing. These talk shows have never been on the internet in terms of data. Our customer acquisition plan is straightforward. We acquire subscribers using a variety of proven social media strategies and conventional media outreach. Our core team includes me. I'm an entrepreneur and a distribution expert with 20 years of experience in the entertainment industry. Ian and Bill, who are the owners of Retro Video and our co-founders with 35 years of broadcast archive experience. Howard Balter, who is the master of new channel launches, who's launched 7 OTT channels. Brad Schlacker, who's created and executed campaigns for OTT channels such as Hallmark Movies Now and Motor Trend. And Matt Gavin, a producer of 20 years with experience at companies like Fremantle, Sony, and Disney. We currently have 3 board of advisors, with a 4th just about to sign, from companies that are well known in both the broadcast and digital space. Thank you for this wonderful time to present.
Fantastic, Richard. Thanks for that pitch. First few comments before we have any questions from the Slack group or from the YouTube group, please go ahead and submit them. I loved your pitch. I think that it's super clear. Even though I'm not in your target demographic, I understand what you're building. I think that, you know, some highlights from my end. I think that the nostalgia value, the way you started with sort of this iron door, metal door with all this content stored and sort of fading away, and your vision of restoring that and bringing that online and letting people watch it. I think that it speaks great about your motivation. I don't see, not every pitch deck that I get to see has that sort of backstory or that human side to it on why you're building and this company and why you're passionate about it. So I love that. I think that on the question of your market size, which I think is fantastic that you purposely addressed, I think that it's great that you mentioned that, even though people don't think that people above 50 pay for these streaming services, the Netflix audience sort of proves that, as well as sort of these nostalgia channels on YouTube. Now, just for my own curiosity, where are you in this business? How far along are you? Do you have a product? Do you have some customers?
So these are very well-known and prestigious properties, these talk show libraries. So we can't do an MVP. It doesn't work like that in the entertainment industry. So we've approached investors who are interested, but they've all said the same thing. When you've signed the content libraries, come back. So as I showed, are you able to hear me, Kaya, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Oh, okay, fine. So where we are right now is we're signing LOIs of the various libraries. I mentioned there are 85 libraries, but there are 7 very well-known libraries. So in the moment, we are trying to sign those and start at stage 1, which is with 15 libraries. We can launch with 500 episodes. And at the moment, I'm pitching to content owners. That's the simple answer.
Question out of curiosity, and maybe some ideas could come out of that. Have you been in touch with these YouTube channels that are hosting these shows? Like, I'm assuming they're not licensing them; they're just hosting them on YouTube. What's YouTube policy on that? Will you be able, for example, to get them to take them down once you have your service live?
Yeah, so you're going along the correct line. So those clips on YouTube, those are not shows. Those are clips of the shows that are put up by third parties. They don't own them. They don't have the right to post them. It's not my job to take them down. However, we will co-opt them. I have experience in distribution with YouTube and clips of unlicensed clips. So essentially, we're going to be digitizing these shows into high definition. we will relaunch those clips in high definition as a marketing tool. So if you would imagine your father, your grandfather, your great uncle who looks for the Tonight Show or the Merv Griffin Show, right now they would just find a clip. But presently, it's just that 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 7 minutes. It's not the full episode. What we would do is launch that clip in high definition, take ownership of it, and lead them to VicTV.
Got it. Got it. I think some ideas. I come from a marketing side, and then that's sort of like the first thing I think about. So this launching HD strategy is great. Obviously, this is content that we've never seen in HD. Speaking for my generation, this is content that has always looked old and sort of like low definition, faded colors. So if you're able to restore that would be a fantastic sell.
But interrupt. We did a test. So we took 5 different shows and we up-res them to high definition. 4 of the 5 shows look excellent, and they have to be refashioned into 16:9 because they were originally filmed in 4:3. Oh, Kai, I lost you. There, I hear you.
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So I think that from a marketing standpoint, doing this, I think that's sort of like remembering a day in history. Say like, okay, so today is March 13th. Like, what was this show on March 13th? What did it talk about in the year X? Right. I think that that's a fantastic sort of way to retell this. Looking back at this library, again, I'm translating all of this to the talk shows that I'm familiar with.
Sure.
I very rarely go and rewatch an old Colbert episode, for example, unless it's like a highlight, or there's a reason to it, or there's maybe or it's related to something that's happening today, right? So how do you connect that with this large library of content and get that nostalgia factor going on? I think that's the value of it. I'm excited about what you're building. I think it's pretty cool. The value prop is clear, and again, going back to the pitch deck itself, I think it lays out a very direct, very clear message.
Good. That was my intention. I would tell you something interesting just on the marketing side. One of our advisors works at Fandango, and Fandango was approached by the movie studios because their clips for feature films were being pirated. So for example, if you take The Godfather, clips were all over YouTube. So they worked with the studios to take those clips and engineer something to maximize the marketing punch. So they came up with something called movie clips. So they are licensed clips from the film in high definition, branded with the movie clips and Fandango logos on them, so that the YouTube audience can still enjoy them, but it's leading somewhere. There's advertising that can be sold, and the idea is that they can rent the movie The Godfather after watching the clips. Right now for these talk shows, they're off there, miscellaneous, there's no control. And in fact, some of the libraries enjoy the piracy because it's a way of their legacy to be continued.
Right.
But it's incorrect. There's no management of it. So.
Got it. And again, a little bit for my own curiosity, but maybe a startup in the audience is doing something similar or has a similar challenge. How do you go about licensing these clips? Like, how do you find out like who owns them, and how do you license them, and how does that letter of intent process work for you?
So a couple of things to be very clear about. VicTV is full episodes, and that's not available anywhere. It was on DVD, and DVD is going away. So as far as the clips go, we're not licensing clips. If you're asking how do those people get those clips, that's sort of a low-tech process to just grab imagery and put it on YouTube. As far as our ability to go to YouTube, and YouTube, by the way, is only one part of our marketing tree on this. So it's not the only one by a long shot. But we essentially, you take it over by, Vic would be the representative in the non-linear space for those clips. So we're able to go to them, advise that we're representing that particular library, take ownership of it. We can put whatever clip we want to because we can control the library in that space. And then you, one by one, pull them down.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. My bad. I meant around the episodes themselves.
Yes.
How do you approach the company or the entity who owns these episodes, and how does that letter of intent process go? Like, what, how far along are you from that? What do you need? Do you need, because this is a little bit of a chicken egg issue for a company like yours, right? You don't have investment because you need those letters of intent. How do you get those letters of intent if you don't have investment to build a product you can show?
Good question. So first of all, I've been in the entertainment industry for quite some time, and these are circles that I work in. There are individuals and companies that own these libraries. They sit on them. So they're looking for opportunities. In many cases, they're waiting for Netflix to knock on the door. What I can tell you is Netflix is not going to knock. It isn't what they're interested in. There's investment to bring these into high definition and clear all the rights. It's too much work. And Netflix, as we see in the entertainment industry generally, Netflix and other broadcasters, they want to know what's new. They don't want to know what's old. For this, there's no interest for them. So we're able to go to the content owners and say to them, we have a streaming channel. It's a specialty channel. We want all your episodes. We don't want the best 10. We don't want the best 50. You know, in some cases, these libraries are 200, 300, 1,000, 1,500 episodes. Our value proposition is we want them all, and that's very attractive to them. Plus, when we digitize this to HD, we've now solved a problem for them. They don't want to spend the money to invest digitizing all these assets. There are some value propositions with storage companies offering that, but they're not interested for reasons I won't get into here. What they want to see are these shows out there. So in terms of interest, they're there. The biggest rub that we have is it's an old television model. They want to see advance money. They want to see per licensing fee. The Spotify model is, and I'm sorry to be abusing such a term, but we're reimagining the revenue model with Spotify. We couldn't do this if there were only 150 episodes. With 15,000 episodes, this works.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I see how the Spotify model, especially for a company just starting up, is something that would work great for you. And how have these conversations gone? Have you had any interest? Have you signed any letters of intent? Is this something that they're interested in negotiating with? My experience, very external with the entertainment industry, was very recent trying to license a song, and I guess that these hoops are sometimes people in the entertainment industry, at least from my experience, they're very old-fashioned in the sense that they will want that revenue in advance.
So the entertainment industry is changing. There is an epidemic failure of the entertainment industry to understand what is happening. But for those who do, they understand that the future revenues are in the space. Digital delivery is relatively new. And we all think it's been around forever. You're looking at streaming has really only been around for about 6 years now. That's it. So, you know, we have Disney coming out. We have Warner Brothers coming out with their own streaming channels. This is where the revenue model is. So to answer your question, there's ways of getting around that subject of advance fees. The short answer is yes, we've signed libraries, and yes, we are still pitching. I can't, I'm under a non-NDA right now to not divulge which libraries we have until we reach a certain point. But what I can tell you is we're looking just for the streaming space. They still can retain broadcast, DVD, stock footage. These are other areas of revenue for them. We're not looking to control any of that.
Absolutely.
We just want streaming, and that's attractive to them. And I should just point out, which I wasn't able to in the pitch, we're also providing all the heavy lifting. We're digitizing it to high definition. We're paying the music fees, the guild and association fees, so that they're not dealing with any of that. The only thing they're seeing are quarterly revenue checks based on the shows that were performed each and every month. Got it.
Moving to a question from John. I was actually looking forward to John's question because John is in the demographic. So John is saying, John, I'm in the demographic and have a background in video archiving. So the proposition is clear. I love the concept of digitalizing these. The problem I would have is the subscription. I consume all my entertainment on YouTube, never once had a streaming subscription. The branded clip concept has merit, though, especially searchable quotes. Would there be a search widget? And then a follow-up question. Also, would period commercials ever be included? That would actually be really cool to see some period commercials there.
So to the first question, wow, John, that's a great idea. We hadn't really conceived of that. We're very aware of it. There's an industry called stock footage research, which people were, if you're going to do a documentary on Muhammad Ali, you pay people to find the clips on Muhammad Ali. So what he's suggesting about searching for quotes, because it's Spotify and because let me back up a little bit. Because it's subscription based, we're not going to open this up to the general public so that they can look for quotes. What we'll do, the idea is they can search and find these shows on Vic. So if they want to watch the show, they can. We're not building a free database for people. We're building a business. So, and I mean that in the best terms, John. Possibly in version 2.0, we might come across something like that. The second comment, what was the second question?
Would period commercials ever be included?
At this point, the technical part of the broadcast industry is these master tapes, some of them have the commercials built in and some of them don't. It's just the way that they were recorded back in the day. We have to look at the legal ramifications of including old commercials. Likely they're probably in the public domain at this point, but we have to see. Our meat and potatoes are people wanting to watch shows. So really, we're taking out what are known as the commercials and the commercial blacks so they can enjoy the entire episode.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's a cool thing. It's maybe again on the marketing end. Maybe as you're editing these clips or writing them to the library, you come across these commercials and then you can use that as some means of getting the word out there about the platform. I think this nostalgia factor is valuable, and all of this, and most of this content is not in a digital format, like you said. So it might be a good way to sort of bring back that memory and play on that nostalgia. Another question from the audience. Jose is asking, and I'm confused about this question, but I will forward it anyway. Jose is asking, this idea can work on old music, those vinyl discs. Don't we have that already with digital? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Does he mean DVDs?
No, I think he means like vinyl records for music. But I think most music has been digitalized by now.
Yeah, I mean, if something hasn't been digitized, certainly there's an opportunity for somebody to do that, but you wouldn't own the rights. I mean, let's say you and I go to a record store and we find a really rare record of the Beatles. We can't digitize it and resell it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. John, I'm sorry, Jose, maybe you can kind of like elaborate on that question on the community. I don't have any more questions, and we don't have any more questions from the community, and we are 20 minutes on. So, Richard, I don't know if you want to add something else. From my end, it's been really fun to hear about your company. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how that progresses. So please stay in touch. And again, if you want to add anything else, please go ahead.
I really appreciate the opportunity, and this was a real fun exercise. By the way, what was my running time?
I think it was around 4 minutes, so you did pretty good.
Okay, very good. I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate the questions, and I'll happy to keep you abreast of progress.
Awesome. So to the community, Richard is part of our Slack group. So if you want to ask him any follow-up questions, please go ahead and do that. As a reminder, you can join our community at founderhub.io. Community members and customers at Slidebean have a priority in our pitching slots. Wrapping up, thanks for watching, and thanks, Richard, for participating. And it's been a great conversation. So we'll see you tomorrow for our live feedback session and next week for our next demo day.
Very good. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Bye, Richard.